Yeah, I believe in you. I don't believe in lucky sevens. I'm not sure about Loch Ness, but I know I believe in angels. I believe in happiness.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, I believe in happiness. And you know, it is such a powerful thing to believe in one another. So thank you, Platinum Planet Records, for that wonderful intro. And I'm so excited because I have Justin Peters connected with us, but we will get to him in just a moment. First, I would love to give a shout out to our sponsor. Who doesn't like hot cocoa in the winter months? I absolutely do. And I found a really cool company a long time ago. I believe it was in season 1. I got to interview this gentleman, and it was on an encrypted line. He would not release his name because he was still in the active. He was still active in the military. I believe he's a veteran now. So this company is U.S. Armed Forces veteran developed and owned, and it's called Kogo Cocoa. And he developed this because the MREs, which is their meals that you take out into the field, they're easy to prepare. Sometimes you can just eat them cold and everything. And he said, you know, it's sustenance, but it doesn't feel like home. And I wanted something in our MREs that felt like home. So he developed cocoa. But the cocoa has exactly how much caffeine you would have in a full cup of coffee, because the other side of that was, he's like, you know, we need something that's going to keep us awake. If we have to stay up for 32 hours straight, we can't fall asleep while we're on watch. So imagine a premium hot cocoa filled with rich cocoa flavor, and each cup providing the same amount of caffeine as a cup of coffee. Is 98 milligrams of caffeine in one packet of cocoa. It does not have a ton of calories. It's only 110 calories, which is fairly low in the market of hot cocoa. It has 0 fructose, soy-free, which is great for our boys and men. They don't need soy. We all know that. So please go to kogococo.com because you can get a special deal right now. I believe it's 15% off of the Kogo Cocoa. You can also find it on Amazon, and it's just a wonderful product. So please go to kogococoa.com today and check it out. But don't go yet, because I would love to bring our guest to the stream. But first, let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to be talking about tonight. So tonight, I'm excited to have Justin Peters connected with us. Justin and Charlie McCoy have just released their new Christmas song titled Harmonica Heaven. Charlie is a Grammy winner and Country Music Hall of Fame member who has played on recordings for Elvis, Chet Atkins, Loretta Lynn, Bob Dylan, Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, and many more. Mr. Peters has worked in the field of publishing for 25 years. He has also established himself as a core songwriter in Nashville, Tennessee. Justin Peters is the son of Ben Peters, an American country music songwriter who wrote many #1 songs. Charlie Pride recorded 68 of his songs, and 6 of them went to #1 on the American country charts. Peters was inducted into the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame in 1980. And without any further ado, I'd like to welcome Justin Peters to the show with us. Good evening, Justin. How are you?
Elizabeth, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Hey, it's Christmas time. This is exciting here in our household. What's it like over there in yours?
You know what? It's cold. It's going to be going down to 20s tonight, and I'm here at my home studio tonight, and I'm nice and toasty and warm inside with heat. So I've been out shopping today for Christmas, finishing my final stuff, and it's nice to be home tonight inside while it's freezing out. You know what I mean?
I do. You know, I've got to ask you, what is on your Santa list?
On my Santa list?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. You know what? I've only had a couple people ask me that. I actually would really like a melodica. I don't know if you know what that is.
No.
But it's an instrument that Honer makes. It's about this long and got keyboards on it, but I'm actually wanting like an old one from the 70s. because it's one of my writing tools that I actually don't have right now. I gave one away here a few months ago, and I've been missing my melodica. So that's one of the few Christmas gifts that I've wanted to have. That, maybe some sweaters and a few clothes, maybe some guitar picks, the palm tree guitar picks. I like those Fender palm tree guitar picks. I go through them pretty fast around here.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
my list is pretty short, but I'm usually pretty. You know, if somebody asks me, I'll tell them. You know, hey, this is something that's on my list. You know, it'd be nice to have. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do that. We do that in the family. You know. I was going to tell you, your sponsor is perfect for your show. I mean,
Thank you.
Caffeine Cocoa for the Caffeinated Cooper Show. Are you kidding me? I mean, that is like, how more perfect of a sponsor can you get than that? You know what I mean?
Oh, I know it. You know, I take it to the gym. Actually, I'll drink it cold, as I put it in with a little bit of chocolate protein, and then put that cocoa in there, put some ice and water and shake it up. And it's really nice.
Yeah, that might be something that goes on my list, actually. Seriously. Now, I've never told you, I've always loved the name of your show, because one of the things that I know is true is that they're never boring, and that you always bring things to the table that are always meaningful to everybody. And so the Caffeinated Cooper Show is definitely appropriately named for your show.
Oh, thank you so much. You know, it's one of those things that just sort of came at me very boldly, very loudly, when the camera was rolling in the beginning of my career. Everybody said, "Oh my gosh, where do you get that energy from? Like, we've been filming for 7 nights at 3:00 in the morning. Where do you get that energy?" And I'm like, I just love it. I love it so much. So I'm glad that the energy continues to keep going forward.
Hey, you know what? Maybe my son can be a sponsor one day. I don't know if you know, but he started a coffee company here about 1.5 years ago called Tim Boom Roasters. Did I ever tell you about that?
No.
Yeah, Jackson Peters, my younger son. It's based on the story of Corrie ten Boom. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
No.
But she helped save a lot of Jewish people during the war. And then she wound up going to the concentration camps and preaching the gospel in the camps. And, you know, people got saved while they were in the camps. And her story is just amazing. And she wound up forgiving the German guard who, you know, put her through the mill, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
After the war, they got together. But anyway, my son, you know, seriously, Tim Boom Roasters, I am putting a plug in for him, because I'm so proud of him. And it's a really cool coffee, and it's all from Israel. The roasting is, the beans come from all around the world, but the main roaster is there in Israel, and they ship it here to Nashville to him. And anyway, I just want to put in a plug for him, since we're on the Caffeinated Cooper Show, and I'm gonna have to talk to him about maybe being one of your sponsors.
Absolutely. You know, that is one product, as ironic as it is, I have not been able to find a coffee that I really enjoy.
Wow.
And yeah.
You know what? I will make sure. I know he's got a batch coming in here in the next few weeks, and I will make sure you get a bag. I'll send you one on the house from us, and you can try it. And if it's something that you love, like the Cocoa you got there, hey, maybe we can hook you guys up. He's a sweetheart of a young man. He's a great businessman, and he's excited because it's more than coffee that he's selling. He's selling community and a story, you know, of bringing things together instead of tearing apart. You know, their logo, I think, is "Goodness is Brewing." You know, and that's sort of what they want to do. You know, they'll have coffee shops one day with the same, you know, with their names down the road. They're working on getting that together too. So anyway, I'm just throwing that in because of your name of your show. I just happened to think about that talking to you here.
Oh, that's so. And is it spelled Timbo?
TENBOOM, like 10 Boom Roasters. And I think the website's just tinboomroasters.com. They got a Facebook, and I know they got a website. And you know, he brought me a T-shirt this last week. I'm gonna be wearing during the holidays. You know, you know, it's fun when your kids get into things and start doing things that, you know, we've been doing. You know, I mean, you've been doing your own thing for years, and I've been doing mine. And isn't it so neat to see your kids develop and do things that they love? You know.
It really is, because you just never know. Each child is so different from the other that you just never know what is going to be their thing. And some children take so long to figure out what is their thing, you know. So it's so special when you see the young ones that, you know, they find it, they stick with it. It's their passion. It's
Yeah.
in them. I mean, it's just amazing.
You know, I would think, seem like Brady, didn't he do that when he was a kid? He like drew a picture of the quarterback and Super Bowl, and then he winds up being the greatest, you know, of all time. You know,
Right.
I'm pretty sure that was him that did that, wasn't it?
I believe it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was that. And by the way, you know, my biggest thing going on this week is I just made the Super Bowl for my fantasy league, and I'm really that's in my family the fantasy football. Do you ever do fantasy football or anything?
I don't, but my daughter does.
Well, these are like big bragging rights for the people that are in the league, and my sons are in the league too. So, you know, it's hard to get in the Super Bowl for fantasy football because it's, well, at least in this league, is highly competitive. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I got, you know, at least I'm in the Super Bowl. I don't know if I'm a winner or not. I'm actually playing against my godson. But that's some of the best news I've had this week. I just found out yesterday that I'm going to be in the final tier. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully I'll pull off a W here for the Peters family, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good luck with that.
Hey,
So,
you didn't ask for any of this stuff, and I'm just giving it a call. I'm sorry.
no, don't apologize. This is great. This is absolutely great. We're getting to know you a little bit. You know, that's really special to be able to find out what is in someone's their fiber, their fabric. You know, and no, I love what you're sharing about your family. I do have a question about writing with Charlie McCoy.
Okay.
So Harmonica Heaven is the song that you co-wrote together. And
no, we didn't. I didn't write it with Charlie. He plays harmonica on there as a duet.
Yes.
I wrote it with Stephen Roop. A couple of years ago, Stephen came over to my studio, and we usually have a bunch of titles in order on pages, and we found one that we wanted to write, and I said, we need to write this for Charlie McCoy. We're going to write this song for Charlie McCoy, and you know, didn't even talk to Charlie or nothing. We finished this song called Harmonica Heaven. I said, it's going to be all about the harmonica. And I called up Charlie like a few days after we wrote it. And I said, hey, man, will you come over here and do a duet on this song with me? And I cut a really nice track on it. And it's not a Christmas song, although it can be played during Christmas. It's just a year-round harmonica song. And but he came over, spent 3 hours, did his part, and such a pro, just ridiculously amazing guy to say yes to coming over there and doing a duet with me because, you know, I don't know if you know, but he just recently joined the Grand Ole Opry, and the release date for this single we made the day he joined the Grand Ole Opry, which was about 3 or 4 months ago. So that was a really nice and special thing to do.
That's extremely wow. I mean, he has had a wonderful career.
Oh,
the list of big celebrities. It's an amazing career. And
he has been in the studio, Elizabeth, for 51 years playing with the big boys. He's the oldest legend still alive, you know, still doing sessions. I mean, he'll play tuba, piano, guitar, harmonica, you know, you name it. He does it all.
Wow, that is fantastic. Do you mind if we listen for just a moment? Harmonica Heaven. All right, this is Justin Peters and Charlie McCoy, Harmonica Heaven.
Harmonica Heaven, Harmonica Heaven, it's good for the soul, it never gets old. Harmonica Heaven, Harmonica Heaven, slow upbeat, the music is sweet. Harmonica Heaven, Harmonica Heaven. When it's played by the fire in the deep of the night, it's a traveler's comfort, a cowboy's delight. They're going in and they're going out. Beautiful music is what it's all about. Harmonica Heaven, Harmonica Heaven.
That is really nice, Justin.
Thank you.
So was that an easy song for you and Stephen to write together?
Yeah, it was a fairly easy song. I mean, we really wanted to be a little bit educational with it. We wanted to just be true to the instrument, and we wanted to write like the ultimate harmonica song. Like there's dueling banjos for the banjo. And we wanted to write a song because there's not too many harmonica songs that are like legendary out there that are really get out there. And I'll be honest, we've had a lot of success with the song. We have a lot of airplay, a lot of TV exposure, a lot of press, so just a lot of really good news on that over the last few months. And it's to do it with Charlie, one of the greatest ever to be in a recording studio in Nashville, Tennessee. Who am I next to him? You know what I'm saying? He's one of my elders, and I just have so much respect for him. I mean, he's just such a nice guy, and no wonder he's had the success he has. When you roll the way he rolls, man, you just see why good things are going to always happen when he's around. You know what I mean?
Right, right. You can definitely feel that with people. That amazing connection, that pure heart, and
Yeah.
that's not easy to find.
No, no. I mean, like the Dolly Partons of the world, they're very few and far between. Yeah, but they're out there, and when they're out there, you can't take them for granted. You just can't take humble, good folks who keep their word for granted.
Mhm.
And what's cool about him, he says he's going to be there. He is. We're talking about Dolly Parton. She's some of my friends who book her. They still do handshake agreements. They don't even do paper agreements. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And I'm like, I don't know. That's not the way the world's rolling these days. But boy, I like to roll that way. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I absolutely.
Integrity is everything to me. I mean, I just don't think you have much in life without integrity. And I know none of us are perfect. We all mess up, but man, I think it's worth the trying for. To
Mhm.
have integrity in your affairs and your skills and your relationships. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. I do. And being in Nashville, I definitely want to ask you about the music industry. And when you do come upon possibly a strong ego or
Mhm.
lack of integrity, do
Mhm.
they tend to burn out? Do they tend to, come away from music eventually because they're not all there for the right reason?
No, they do. You're right. They burn out like a faded firework. I've seen it happen many times. Unfortunately, I've had some situations here that I've had to deal with on my own because I have a record company, Platinum Planet Records, and that's not always easy. Because you're busting your ear and trying to make things happen for somebody, and sometimes people take that for granted. And when I actually started the label, Elizabeth, I talked to 2 or 3 label heads, like the head of CBS and Sony, and I think MCA, and the 3 label heads, and they all said the same thing. They said it'd be one of the most painful things I ever did. And I'm like, why would they tell me that? You know, and that's how it come, because they spend all their time, you know, working with somebody, and then they leave their label. I mean, somebody leaves Sony and goes to MCA, somebody leaves whatever, and you know, that's really hard to take. Even if you've had all the success in the world, and I'm just an independent small label here, with Platinum Planet Records, nothing like Sony, but I thought it was interesting that they shared that, and
Mhm.
that was one thing they all had shared. I'm like, wow, but you know what? The ones that are winners, they're winner chicken dinners, and a lot, like I remember Alison Krauss, when she got really big, she was on a small label at the time, and she's still on that label. She's been faithful to them and has won all her Grammys on that label. Isn't that cool?
Wow. Wow, that really is. You hear of so many artists that are trying to independently promote because the internet and just it being so easy to try to market yourself and get in front of millions and millions of people worldwide. Uh, that is quite interesting.
Well, it's not easy. I wouldn't say it's easy to market. I mean, I wouldn't say that, because I mean, that's marketing these days. There is no set business plan,
No.
and these days it's more about the story, and and when you do have great music, though, I believe that the people at the end of the day, have the last word on it. I really do,
Mhm,
and I think that greatness will rise to the top if they stay humble.
mhm.
I I do believe in trying to achieve humble success. You know what I mean, as opposed to arrogant success. You know?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Nashville has seen a lot of changes in the past couple of years. A lot of people trying to get into the music industry, people
Oh, yeah.
established in the music industry, actors and actresses, big names
Yeah.
have moved into the Nashville area. And
Oh, yeah.
you've really gone through quite a boom in the past several years.
Yes.
If for someone trying to get into the Nashville scene, what advice can you give them? What are the steps or bits of knowledge that they really need to know?
Well, uh, listen to the people who are humble and good. Um, take advice from them and heed it. Um, work hard, develop your talent. Don't pretend to be a know-it-all. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I tell new artists to go find a home somewhere where they want you, and stay there and be faithful. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, I mean, I've got a lot of millionaire friends in the business, and all of them did that. They went to some company and worked with them, and if things looked great, they stayed there. If things looked bad, they stayed there. But guess what? They're all millionaires because they stayed with those people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it really pays to have a good home. Find a good home where you can trust people and they trust you, and you're working together. Because at the end of the day, it takes a team. Even the Beatles, I mean, George Martin produced all their records, and before them, the only records he had ever produced were comedy records. But he was a perfect guy to produce them because they were a bunch of guys just having fun. So he stayed on their team during all of those records. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And obviously when they broke up, it's hard to have success when when you're breaking up. So they're not together. But when they were together, and you have like George Strait had the same manager forever. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Uh, Amy Grant, the same thing. She had the same management team over her for years, a very quality group of people. And if you want to do big stuff and be around for a while, find a home that you can trust and stay there, hunker down, and just work hard. And
Mhm.
listen to the people that come along that know what they're doing. Because if you listen, you can really win if you do those things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, completely makes sense.
And really, it still comes down to the music, and that you want people to be honest with you. Like if something is terrible, you don't want to tell them it's great. You don't want them telling you, hey, this is great. You want honesty, and don't have a thin skin. Just be willing to take criticism and listen. And I think that the industry is ripe for a new crop of great singers that will be leaders. I think we're very ripe for that, but I just don't know where they're going to come from, who they are. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I think that at the end of the day, though, the people will be the ones who determine your success. And if you're nice to the people, that they'll remember that. But if you ain't nice to them, they'll remember that too. Minnie Pearl was one of my mentors as a kid, and one of the things she told me, and she preached this all of her life, was that love the people, Justin, and they will love you back. And when you're gigging out there, don't look at it as making dollars. Look out there as a chance to make memories with those folks and love on them. If you're an entertainer or singing to the folks, that's what I'm saying. And I believe in that. And I believe in that more than just the entertainment business. You love the people. And they just might love you back. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that sounds old school, and it is old school. But I guess I've got a lot of old school ways that I ain't giving up here in me.
How competitive is it to break in?
It's off the charts competitive. It's off the charts. Yeah. It's just on all levels with every big label, every independent label, you know, uh, every artist, even artists on the same label, they're competing with against each other sometimes. They're competing for radio space. CMT only plays so many songs a week, so you're competing for what 20 songs they play, all week long. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, think about that. It's like, man, there's only a handful of singers that get in those reps. So one of the things that I love about what I do with publishing is we get songs in movies, we get songs like in special shows. I mean, we get songs all across the board, and they're just individual events that aren't necessarily competing directly with something that's like it is. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And those are always fun things to be a part of. But usually, the artists, I mean, it is a competition. I mean, come on, if everybody's up for a Grammy, they want to win that Grammy.
You're right.
Taylor Swift and her team have been one of the best at marketing, and so has the Bieber team. Those are probably the two top marketing teams in the entertainment business, in my opinion, for marketing music. And there's a lot that goes on, and there's also a lot of money spent. There's a lot of money that's spent. So, you can have success and not spend any money, but I remember a few years ago, the average marketing budget was $1.5 million to $2 million for a country artist, for each single. You know what I mean?
Wow. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Wow.
I remember when Clint Black first got started, ZZ Top helped fund his label deal, and RCA matched it. I think they gave him $2 million, and RCA matched $2 million, and they went and developed Clint Black into a country music star.
So how are people getting in front of the big players, to make those connections? Is it all online? Like, I mean, how do you network?
Any way you can, some people really do, you got people who do crazy things. I mean, there was some girl trying to market her songs, walking down Music Road, nothing but her cowboy boots. And,
Okay.
of course, 12 cop cars. She got the attention of 12 cop cars. But I got to tell you that, she did have 2 or 3 places that let her come in and listen to her music. So, I mean, there's, I remember my parents were in a meeting one time with a label head, and a guy comes in there, the same thing. A guy does, and said he wasn't going to leave until they listened to his music. I don't recommend that, where they're having to call the cops to get you out of their office. You don't want to do those kind of things, And, it takes a lot of, I don't want to say luck, but I tell you what, the harder you work, the better your chances are. And, if you think you want to be a star, well, you better act like one, and you better dress like one. You better sing like one. And that's 24/7. That's not just, when you're taking a meeting. When you go grocery shopping, you better look like a freaking rock star. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I remember I took an artist to some entertainment people who represented the Super Bowl, and I said, whatever you do, you be on top of your game. Well, before she even took the meeting, there were 7 people who didn't even know who she was, asked for her autograph between the car and that meeting.
Oh, she listened.
Yes. And you know what? That makes a difference, to how you take care of yourself. Taylor Swift, talking about her again, I know she's in Hendersonville out there jogging, but when she jogs, she's wearing a very nice jogging outfit, and she's looking like $10 million even when she's working out, and she'll photobomb some little girl's birthday party while she's out there running or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what you got to do. You got to be a rock star all the time. If that's what you want to be, you can't just be that part-time, and you got to want it. And you can't just give, you can't give just 100% these days. You got to give everything you've got and more,
Mm-hmm.
To me, it does. To me, I mean, there's some people who've lucked into situations, but these days, I just don't think these are the days for that right now. I'm sure there'll be somebody come along and everything's just, perfect right there, just like a princess or a queen. Here we rolling out the carpet for them. But most people I know, they're gonna have to be working hard for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
I got to tell you, though, I'm excited about the opportunities in the business today, and we got singers back on the road again. That was a very difficult chapter during COVID to see everybody at home, not on the road. And
It had to be a major culture shock.
Oh yeah, I mean, when artists are doing house concerts, instead of big boy concerts, and people are having to drop their staff, until they can get people in the audience again,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad to see things rolling again,
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I want to ask you about your baby, Platinum Planet Records. What do you have coming in the future? Is there anything that you can tell us?
Yeah, I'll be honest. We got some movie stuff that I'm really excited about. I've been asked to do my first action movie, to be music supervisor on that. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm doing a sequel to actually The Farmer and the Belle. We're working on songs for the soundtrack for that. And I've got about 3 or 4 other projects that we're working on songs for where they give us the scripts and we're writing songs for them. And it's really, I love doing that. I love it too when we get a chance to do the music before they film, because sometimes our music can change the scene. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And on 95% of the movies that are done, the music is the absolute last thing they think about. You know what I'm saying? They don't think about anything music wise until the end of the movie, after everything's shot, and then they'll go do the music, So, and we got we probably got 150 shows out this year with our songs on them. It's, everything from HBO to CMT to whatever. And it's exciting, to be a part of those. And I've got some writers I'm really excited about because they're really coming along and developing commercial songs that can be utilized. I mean, I got an incredible team of writers, and I don't know, it's I like planting seeds, and I'm basically a farmer in the business, Elizabeth. I don't know if I've ever told you that, but that's what I consider myself, a farmer in the music business. And I love going to the co-op and selling our corn,
Yes.
I love it. It's still about the song to me. We don't play politics. We don't cut all these backdoor deals where so-and-so's getting this cut and that cut. When we do great music, and praise God, I've been able to make a living all these years doing that. And, I count on him to lead my way here for the future. I don't, he owns all our assets here. He owns my heart, my mind, and my studios, and my home, and every relationship that I'm responsible for right now. It's in my camp here, every songwriter and artist that I'm working with. So I take it very seriously, but we also, we have a lot of fun around here, Elizabeth. We do.
Yes, I do. And, going back to the idea of having a script what a privilege to be able to read through and craft songs directly for that project, because you're so right. It's usually a post-production thing to look for music, for scores for a movie.
Right. And what's cool is, like I've got several songs right now where they're actually writing scenes for the song. You know what I mean? They wanted to build a scene around the song, and I'm like, you don't ever have to twist my arm on that stuff. You know what I mean?
So I've got to ask you a question. What is your favorite Christmas song?
Boy, I really love "Oh Come Let Us Adore Him." I just love that song. I love "Oh Night Divine," but "Oh Come Let Us Adore Him." When you use the word adore, if there's any true definition of that word for me, it's wow. Let us come adore baby Jesus, this child, this gift of hope, this gift of life. I just don't know if any song says it better. Imagine going to see a baby, just come let us adore this King of Kings. I just love that song. I like a lot of Christmas songs, and I got to tell you, just this week, I've written 3 Christmas songs myself. So, and you know about one of them yourself. You know that, right?
I do. Yes, I do know about one of them.
Why don't you tell them about that?
Well, that was a lot of fun. So we were writing together, and I think it was the chorus that came to us first.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And, it was, in my mind, crafting that song, I wanted something that was going to touch the true meaning of the holiday and be loving. It's like a blend of so many different songs, don't you think?
Yes. Well, I want you to know I hand wrote the chorus out because I really wanted to share the lyrics on this show, if that's okay. Will you let me do that?
Yes, absolutely.
Because it's Christmas time, and I like to end the show with this too. But this is everybody out there. This is a song I actually wrote with the Elizabeth Cooper here on the other end, and the name of this one was "It's a Special Season." I just want to read the chorus, and then I'm gonna sing it to you, if that's okay. Make just sing it a cappella here. It's a special season. Jesus Christ is the reason. Hearts are celebrating everywhere, loving on loved ones with great care. People are spreading out the cheer. Nothing like this time of year. It's a special season. Jesus Christ is the reason. And are you cool if I pull up my guitar here or acapella?
Absolutely, yes.
I'll here. See it. It's a special season. Jesus Christ let me try this again. It's a special season. Jesus Christ is the reason. People are celebrating everywhere, loving on loved ones with great care. People are spreading out the cheer. Nothing like this time of year. Oh, it's a special season. Jesus Christ is the reason.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Justin.
Doesn't that make you feel Christmas just hearing that?
It does. It makes you think of the reason for the holiday and family all in one.
Yes, yes. Well, we wrote a good one there, and we'll probably get it out there somewhere next year, some project, who knows. But you know what? People can start singing it right now. The thing about our Christmas songs here is we want the whole world doing our songs. You know, it's sort of like Happy Birthday. When we write Christmas songs, we want everybody to do them. You know, I don't necessarily, if an artist came and said, hey, will you hold that song for me? It's absolutely going to be our single or something, I might hold it, but usually on the Christmas songs, anybody who wants to do them, we'll almost let them do them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's a special one there. We'll probably get that one in a movie for you, girl.
Oh, let's do it.
Hey, you had one in one of the other movies here, The Farmer and the Belle. We got you a song with a soundtrack on that.
That's right. Yeah, Baby Love Me was a song that I created. It was quite interesting because I was thinking of my ex at the time because I was separated from my husband for 8 years. And we actually remarried last year. And
which
the
I love.
movie
I think that's
came out
fantastic.
last year. So, everything's meant to be.
I just think that's so cool. By the way, The Farmer and the Belle, just as of 2 days ago, is on the Peacock. NBC started streaming that movie 2 days ago. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so people can go to NBC now and see The Farmer and the Belle Saving Santa Land. And I will put in a plug for that movie because those are some nice people that did that project. Really nice group of people. And they're working on the sequel to that now. So that's going to be another good one too, Guarantee it'll be a funny one.
Absolutely. I'm typing that up right now. While I'm typing, will you tell a little bit about the movie and the stars in it?
Well, it's got Jen Gotzen Chandler and her husband, Jim. And they are movie producers on this one as well. But she played in the Frost Nixon movie. She was a daughter. And Jim's on all the cop shows all the time. He's on TV every week somewhere. And they're both just very full-time actors doing a lot of family things. And they're both so talented as producers, as visionaries. They know what it takes to market. They got the movie in theaters last year, a bunch of theaters around the nation. And then you can pretty much streamed it on all the major, Netflix, all the different ones. I think are carrying it now, especially since the Peacock's on it. I think they're one of the only ones that hadn't, but they're on board with that now. But they're working on the next one. Bob, the screenplay writer, is working on a screenplay for it right now, and we've actually been working on songs for it over the last few months. So that's been exciting to do. And it's really fun when you're working with good people. Makes things a lot easier to do. You know what I mean?
Yes. The time goes by, you feel good about what you're doing, and that doesn't come very often. So the moment that it does, it's really a special moment. And it's sort of like, if anyone has heard about energy between people, some people
right.
will fill up your cup, some people will take from your cup, and then others it's just neutral. You're both loving each other neutrally. And that's really something special when you find someone that fills up your cup and you fill theirs.
Well, one of the highlights of that project was they actually asked me to be in the movie to sing in one of the scenes, and I wound up singing with the whole cast, which was incredible. But when we showed up on set in Georgia, Jen Gotzen had placed the lyrics to the main song, like in the bathroom, in the green room, in the makeup room, everywhere. She posted the lyrics, the song called Santa Land that's in there, and everywhere. So when we showed up on set, all the cameramen were singing the song. They knew the song. Every actor, anybody that had a job in the movie, everybody learned the doggone song. And I'll be walking through the set and they'd start singing singing that song. You know what I'm saying? It was one of the coolest things I've ever experienced as a songwriter, to know that everybody that was working there, they had already been filming for 10 days, and they had these lyrics for 10 days, learning this song. And, here I am showing up just at the tail end of the shoot. And to experience that it was a really cool thing. And I had my co-writer join me too, Stephen Roop, and it was one of the coolest things a songwriter can experience, is to know that, everybody took such an effort to learn one of your songs in a really cool project. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's big.
And her initiative to put it up even in the bathroom stall. When I saw it in the bathroom stall, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. She put the lyrics even in the bathroom stall. I'm like, this is a sign of a great producer. and then her husband, Jim, I remember the day we got there, he was, he wasn't above doing anything. And he was out there directing traffic on the farm so people wouldn't get stuck in the mud or whatever. And I'm like, here we got the two producers, and one of them's directing traffic and the other one's putting lyrics in the bathrooms, I'm like, that's a sign of great producers.
Yes, absolutely.
People that do those kind of things, that's, that's hard to find that out there,
Mm-hmm. And that movie, a lot of the scenes were filmed in the middle of the summer, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. 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 They filmed part of it in Times Square, I filmed the horse with a onesie in Times Square. I don't know if you remember that or not, but they had
I do remember.
Horse in a onesie, and she was in a onesie too, and they had matching onesies. Isn't that funny?
Hilarious. Yeah, they've done a great job promoting the movie. So everybody check out The Farmer and the Belle Saving Santa Land.
Yes. It's a rom-com romance comedy. It's funny. It's a good one.
It is.
It's better than a Hallmark, because it's a lot deeper than a Hallmark. But I mean, Hallmark movies are great, but it's a lot more, and it's sort of like a Hallmark, but it's a lot deeper into it, and it's a great message that they have in there about internal beauty. And that's another thing that I just love about it,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, you have been so gracious with your time this evening, but before I let you go, I know that you have a lot of angels in the industry, a lot of wonderful musicians and songwriters that have left us here, and they are resting sweetly in heaven. Yes. And you do have a friend of yours that you mentioned that you would love to chat about him, Jake Flint.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention him and honor him. He was about 4 or 5 years ago. He was a new artist coming to Nashville, trying to get things going, and he's absolutely one of the probably the greatest talents and greatest ones who did it right. He actually listened to the advice of the people around him, and he was from Oklahoma. He wound up being a red dirt road artist. Music played all kind of venues. He didn't necessarily do all the really big venues, but he did medium size and smaller venues, and he got his name out there big time. And unfortunately, about 2 weeks now, a week and a half ago, he got married and passed away on his wedding night.
Oh.
He had an injury that he didn't know he had, and I just can't believe he's around. Anyway, I just want to just tell everybody, if you get a chance, maybe go out and support Jake Flint, his music. If his wife has any kind of a charity out there, I know you can find them. Just type in Jake Flint, and you'll find things that you can get to there. But I know his wife's going to need some support, and just a really nice gentleman who didn't get to see his ultimate day with music. And that's what really saddens me about this, because, he's such a great young talent, 37 years old. And, we're going to be writing here in a few months, and now I won't get that chance. And, when you meet people like that, you just don't forget them. And I'm asking y'all, maybe just go out there, listen, support his music, download his music. Like I said, if there's any charities out there, I'll try to get those to you if you want me to, Elizabeth. But I just really didn't want to not talk about him, because he's a young musician who needs to be remembered. And I just wanted to bring up tonight. So thank you for letting me bring that up, Elizabeth, because, man, life is so short. We can't take a day for granted,
We really can't. And, I don't do this very often, but I'm going to request, would you mind if we pray over his new wife? I know that you are a Christian man. I'm a Christian woman, and I think a lot of people would really appreciate that. Would you mind leading us in prayer over
Yeah,
him?
well, dear Lord, we just lift up Brenda's wife, Lord, and the family, Lord. I don't know all the family members, Lord, but Lord, I just ask that you would cover that situation for them financially, emotionally, spiritually. Any way you can cover that situation, Lord, I ask you to cover that family, Lord. Lord, I just can't imagine waking up and your husband's gone on your wedding night, honeymoon night, or whatever, Lord. I just can't believe that. And Lord, the things she's had to deal with, uh, nobody should have to deal with, Lord. But we just send your peace there, your loving arms to wrap around that family, and even the fans of Jake, Lord. I know there's a whole bunch of people showed up at that funeral, Lord. It was a standing room only funeral, and I just pray you bless all the people who supported him, and you would give them peace, Lord. I mean, they loved him, as a man on this planet, as a musician, and Lord, just give them peace too, Lord. And I just pray, Lord, that you would honor Jake, Lord, in his music, and that somehow he would not be forgotten in all of this that has gone down, Lord. So, Lord, we just plead the blood of Jesus over this family and over this whole situation, and ask for peace to go there, and your help to go there. In your holy name, Lord, we pray this, and we believe that you will answer. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much for that.
You're,
37 years old. That is way, way too young.
yep. Really good man too. That's what hurts. He's just such a good man. I remember. You probably don't know Rich Mullins, do you?
I don't.
Well, he's a big Christian songwriter, and he wrote a lot of Amy's hits, and he was an artist himself. He had 7 #1 gospels. But anyway, when he died too soon. But he had a Jeep wreck, and then after his wreck, an 18-wheeler came along, and he went out in a blaze of glory the way he actually wanted to. He had always said he wanted to go out in a blaze of glory, and he actually got his wish. But I haven't felt the way I felt about Jake, since Rich, when that happened years ago. And just a great talent and a great friend. And I'm like, wow, I wake up some mornings and I'm thinking I can write a song with Rich, and I can't, and I don't know. It's not a good feeling when you lose these people that you love and you cherish, and they just leave way too soon.
Right. I do.
I'm not a big fan of the 27 Club. I don't encourage anybody to join that 27 Club. Join the long-term club. The Bible says 120 years shall be your years. I believe that.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, there's 5 or 6 people right now on the planet that are 119 years old that I know of, that I've heard about. So
I can't even imagine. Could you? Can you imagine?
well, I actually can. I could imagine. I don't know that I'll live that long, but the Bible specific, it says 120, and there are actually people that old, and so I tell all my friends who are under 100, you can't start saying you're old until you're at least 100. Okay, if you're 60, 70, 80, or 90, and you're calling yourself old, I just don't. I can't go there with you. I won't believe it with you.
Wow, my goodness. Well, I'm going to have to call my mother and tell her she has 40 more years.
There you go. That's right.
She
That's
is
exactly
83.
Right. That's exactly right. But seriously, I do this all year long. I talk to my friends when they talk about that. Somebody says they're getting old, and I know they're 60 or 70. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude?
Exactly.
You better get your facts straight here, man.
Well, Justin,
don't talk yourself into it, right?
right, exactly. Well, Justin, I want to say thank you so much for coming on this evening and sharing everything that you've shared. It's really been a wonderful show. I really have enjoyed our chat, and you've shared a lot of information about getting into the business in Nashville and just how competitive it is. It's everybody knows that if you're going to be in music, that's where you want to be. Just like with acting, it was always Los Angeles. Well, now it's Nashville too.
Right. Well, I tell you, I want to end on a hopeful thought.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read another scripture here, but the Bible says that your gifts will make room for you. So if you're a singer out there, that's a guarantee from God that your gifts will make room for you. So it may be in front of one person, or maybe in front of 1 billion, but you're guaranteed that your gifts will make room for you. And that's where I would start, right there. That's where I would start my career, believing that. And then, you know what? Next thing you know, maybe the whole world's got all their doors open for you. You know what I mean, Elizabeth?
Exactly. That's very encouraging.
So,
I
hey,
love-
it's a special season. Jesus Christ is the reason.
That's right. That's right. Merry Christmas to you and yours.
You got it. Merry Christmas to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Justin. We'll see you again very soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Thank you, Justin Ware, for commenting. I love that you've stayed with me the whole time. We've got to get to know each other better because I've seen your name multiple times this week. And I want to wish you a happy holiday, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas. Enjoy and celebrate. Everybody, as always, we are blessed. You are blessed. Mwah. I love you. And I will see you next time. Thank you for tuning in.